Hey Wildcats, Miss Murphy here with just a quick video reminding you how to evaluate admission information and really kind of take a deep breath around how SchooLinks categorizes some of the admission stats related to colleges as you're doing some searches. I should start and end this video with kind of a take a deep breath, relax, chill out a little bit. SchooLinks tends to do some exclamation points, create a lot of reach college classifications for schools that might be much more of a likely or target for you. And I'm going to kind of walk you through that fact today. So we're going to take a deep breath as we do our college searches. We know that there are over 4,000 colleges out in the US waiting for you, excited for you to apply to them. We know that there are a lot of options out there for you to consider and to ultimately land at. So we're just going to kind of, again, deep breath through some of how we look at this data and this information. So I'm in the homepage. Once you've logged into SchooLinks, you're going to see your student homepage. We're going to go to the colleges tab on the left-hand menu bar. We're going to look actually at, you can do school search and go from there. But if you've already done a search, which I have a previous video on school search, so go back to that one and then catch up on this video. But we're going to go to favorites and lists for now. So this is where I have saved several schools based on my search of programs, regions of the country, things that are important to me that might not be important to you. So again, part of my searches were about finding a college in an urban, a city setting. I wanted a business program. I wanted mostly Midwest, but I did look at a couple on the East Coast. So however specific you want to make that. So we have, what I did is from that college search, I clicked the heart to favorite it. And that is how these schools ended up on my favorites list. Remember, this page will also be where counselor favorites or counselor lists will be housed. So if you're talking with me, your LST counselor, and we recommend schools for you to consider, that's where they will show up, is on this favorites and lists page. So we're going to go in and look at, I'm going to pick Illinois Wesleyan for the fun of it today. Just random school, small school in central Illinois. And I just want to walk you through, once you click on a specific school name, you're taken to a page, a breakout page with lots and lots of overall information about the school. So SchooLinks is going to pull this from trusted data sources. So this is probably information that you'll see if you do use Big Future or any other third-party college search engines. A lot of this information will look similar stat-wise. The presentation of it may just look a little bit different. So we see that there are 1,527 undergraduates. That's what you will be after high school. You'll be an undergraduate student. Talks about where the school's at, what that campus setting looks like, housing requirements. You get a month by month weather report, get some more information about the community. Lots and lots of information. Study abroad programs, ROTC programs, maybe some of those highlighted majors that students go to that institution for. And again, just because the interest area that you have doesn't show up in these top 5 or 6, doesn't mean you should nix it from your list. That just means it's not up in that, most popular for that campus. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist there. What's the athletics like at that school? What sports are offered? You can go directly to the athletics website and see. You can see they're a Division III school. What's kind of student life services? Then we get into cost and financial aid. Keep in mind on this cost and financial aid, if you do know the range of your family income, you can adjust this so that, as your family income is known, or you can adjust for accuracy for you and your family, you will see what your estimated net price would be for that school. So that's a really nice kind of quick glance at cost, which is a massive factor in building that college list. And then we've got some admissions information. So this is where I want to kind of take a deep breath, because for my student demo page, I am sitting at a 3.2, I believe, unweighted, 3.4 weighted GPA. And you can see that the average high school weighted GPA of admissions for Illinois Wesleyan is a little bit higher than what I have. However, that does not mean I am not a strong candidate and should not apply to Illinois Wesleyan. You see here, Illinois Wesleyan accepts almost 70% of the students that apply. And keep in mind, the average is going to be that middle point of all the GPAs that have been accepted. So there were obviously GPAs higher and lower. And so there's a broader range than just having to hit this mark. So I just want, as a starter, remember that average high school weighted GPA is not a must. It is a data point for you to consider and to think about, where do I stand in regards to this average. And then also you have some testing information, but keep in mind, again, most schools are test optional. So some of the admitted student information related to testing may be skewed by the fact that students with higher test scores over the last 4 or 5 years are the ones sending test scores. So you can absolutely go to college and be admitted to many, many, many colleges without ever submitting a test score. Okay, so then we have some application information. How do I apply? That we'll get into later. Some suggestions if you're loving this school, some schools that might also be of interest to you. So that's just that quick overview. And then I want to remind you too that if this school that you're looking at visited LHS, you can click on this comments tab or comments link on the right-hand side of the screen, and you'll see the fall 2024 rep visit notes. KH stands for Kelly Higgison. So Ms. Higgison took notes when our Illinois Wesleyan rep was here. And these are our most current notes from visits here to LHS. So just a quick reference there. And then I also want to remind you that when we get back to admissions, and again, the average GPA is not a required GPA. It is a data point for consideration's sake. But you can also click on See Scattergram. And this is going to be a nice way for you to see. Again, I mentioned that my sample student has a 3.2 unweighted GPA. And I can see here over the last 5 years, several students have been admitted to Illinois Wesleyan with GPAs lower than, keep in mind, you can kind of zoom in, lower than that 3.78 GPA that was on that first screen. So again, I'm going to do that one more time. I'm on the college page, favorites and lists, Illinois Wesleyan, click back to that, admissions, scattergram. And that lets me see 5-year, I'm making this video in December of 2024. So we're looking at data from about 2019-20 through last year. And you're able to see where were the admits, the denies, etc., which is going to give you a much better, not perfect and not predictable, but a much better framework for your admission chances, okay? All right, so we're going to go back to my favorites and lists, and I want to see admission stats. So I went from favorites and lists to admission stats, and you can also get there this way, admission stats. And this page, again, it kind of brings up the schools that I have favorited. I have a 22 ACT that I've put in, a 3.1 GPA unweighted, a 3.2 weighted. Let's do weighted just for the fun of it. And now we can kind of see how the schools that I've saved as schools of interest might match up against admission data and criteria. So we can sort by admit percentage. So the list of schools that I have favorited as an interest area, admit percentage, 527, all the way down to 90%, graduation percentage. And then we've got that average weighted GPA. And again, I have a 3.2 weighted GPA. But Iowa State is a strong safety / possible target for me. University of Kansas is a strong safety for me. Marquette, I feel pretty confident about. Loyola, I feel pretty confident about. Because again, that middle GPA is a range, right? And I know that those schools are going to look at me much more broadly. So if Aaron Murphy, your college counselor, is looking at this list that you've built with a 3.2 GPA and a 22 ACT, I'm going to feel like you're heading in the right direction around admission percentages, general data points, and you've created a sense of balance, even though SchooLinks is giving you lots of kind of red flags around your GPA is below the average. Being below the average is not being unadmissible, okay? So, and again, this is another piece where it's great just to have you can have an intro meeting with me. You can send me an email. This is what I'm thinking. Talk through these things so that you're feeling, again, informed, empowered, and confident versus stressed, unsure, and nervous around the process, okay? So happy searching. Take a deep breath around looking at these admission stats. Realize that there are definitely schools out there that are very, very, very selective. More colleges in the United States accept 50% or more of students that apply than those that don't. There are lots of places for you to land Wildcats, and I just want you to give you a sense of comfort, confidence, and information with this process, okay? So we just reviewed colleges, favorites and lists, where you're able to click on any school that will take you to a specific page. And then you can look at that admissions data. From each of these schools, you can also get to, I'm going to click on Loyola, so we have one more example here. I've clicked on one more school. Remember, comments is where those visit notes would be. If I have visited a campus or they've come here to talk with students, we take notes. And then this admissions section is where you can see the scattergram, look at some of that admissions information, costs and financial aid. Again, we're going to adjust for family income to get a clearer view of our estimated cost. And then you can always go out to that scattergram to see I'm sitting at a 3.2 weighted. I've got a lot of green in there. That feels pretty great for me as far as thinking I'm going to apply to Loyola. All right, happy searching.